All right, welcome to the 2019 Division I Relay Carnival here from Overlee Pool in Arlington, Virginia. We're glad that we were able to get this live stream off the ground and just want to quickly throw out some thanks to the Overlee board for having us and all their team reps for helping set us up here, as well as all the team reps from the Division I teams. This is going to be a great meet. This is one of the fastest, most exciting meets of the entire summer, and we're just really excited that we can be here to see it all happen. I'm joined by my host of the Shave and Taper podcast, Christian Doud.
Good evening, Torey. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm glad we're back together. For all of the Shave and Taper fans out there, we have been off the air for way too long, and so we're trying to make it up by having a really good broadcast tonight.
Let the excitement begin.
Yeah,
this is fantastic.
This is our first whack at broadcasting, so hopefully we can live up to our standard. We did have a show last year where we went off on Rowdy Gaines a little bit, and now we're going to find out exactly how hard it is to talk through an entire swim meet. But just hit us in the comments if you're watching us on the live stream. Let us know how things are going. We have help here who might be able to help us make some adjustments on the fly. But more than anything, we're here to have some fun. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're about 8 minutes out from the start of the first race.
You can hear the noise in the background building. It is go time tonight, Torey. Look at these guys. They are excited. They are fired up and ready to go.
Yeah, and we have, I'm sure, a lot of viewers here tonight who might not necessarily be NVSL experts. So let's break down how this meet works for them. So we have 22 events tonight. We start off with the two 18-under mixed age relays. That's 4 swimmers, one from each age group from the 11-12, 9-10, 13-14, and 15-18.
That's right.
All swimming a 50 freestyle before we get into the medley relays. For the 8-unders through 11-12s are all going to swim a 100 medley, so 4 lengths of the pool. 13-14 and 15-18s are going to swim a 200 medley. That's everybody swimming 50s. Going backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, freestyle. And then we finish off the meet. We'll have a little break at halftime, and then we finish off with freestyle relays. Same lengths, 12 and unders doing 100s, 13s and up are doing 200 freestyle relays. And beyond that, they score out this meet. So 14 points for first place, 10 points for second, 8 for third, 6 points for fourth place, 4 points for fifth place, and 2 for sixth place.
What's amazing, Torey, is the energy level. Obviously, the teams are starting to build. You look around the deck, there's hundreds of spectators, including alumni, former coaches, former swimmers, with the entire Overlee Politburo looking on.
Yeah, and we actually just right here below us, we have a number of old Chesterbrook alumni, many of the guys that I've recognized from coaching and swimming in this league over many years, all hanging out. We're fortunately behind a few windows, so we might not hear everything that they have to say, which could be good or bad. But the thing is, like you said, is that the energy is definitely building here as these teams start cheering for this meet, and that's just going to spread throughout the entire pool deck and area up here in the cheering section as we get started in this meet. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot at stake. Linda Klopfenstein, the Division I coordinator, is carrying around a big trophy for the teams to take home. The first jewel in the Triple Crown tonight, Christian.
That is correct. This is the first of the 3 big ones. So this week we have the Divisional Relay Carnival, and then we've got All-Star Relay Carnival, and then 3 days after that is the Division I Championship between the 2 best teams, which we'll find out tonight. I think we'll have a pretty darn good idea who the number 1 and number 2 are. We all agree that Chesterbrook looks like the strong favorite tonight.
That's right.
But we're going to find out quickly if it's Overlee, Tuckahoe, who knows, maybe McLean, Highlands, or Wahoo's jumping.
Right, yeah, Chesterbrook's been is definitely the favorite. They've won the last 3 Division I championships. Overlee's actually fared really well in the Relay Carnival over the past 10 years or so, but Chesterbrook did take the Triple Crown last year, so we have to consider them a favorite. I think that this is going to be a good indication. Overlee and Tuckahoe swim this weekend. Tuckahoe did get beat pretty good by Chesterbrook this past weekend, but we'll find out what that matchup is going to look like ahead of, like you mentioned, the Chesterbrook-Overlee meet, which is always or has been in Week 5 for the past 15 years. So we'll have an idea of how Overlee and Tuckahoe look going into all that. This is a really good show us exactly where everybody stands at the halfway point in the season.
That's right. The beauty of this meet, and we've talked about this before, our regular listeners have heard this rant before, and that is that anything can happen at the Relay Carnivals. There is a level of excitement and energy that It isn't matched in the dual meets, as exciting as those are, and it may be the difference between a first, a second, or third. It could be the extra point you need, and it could even lead to a DQ or a false start. Well, so we'll be on the lookout for those tonight, too.
And as our camera guy's panning around the pool deck, notice how close to the pool all these teams are and how many people that they brought out. It's clear that there's a lot more than just the swimmers swimming in these relays here tonight. So with the energy building up, you always do have the possibility, with kid swimmers, is somebody jumping early. And that's an absolute easy way to lose this meet, is to go out and DQ one of your relays.
Let's talk a little bit about this pool. This pool, Overlee, built in 1956. Team started in 58. This pool has been modified over the years and upgraded. It is now an 8-lane pool. As you're looking at it from the camera, the far lane would be lane 0. Then the middle 6 lanes tonight are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming towards us. And then that would be lane 7 on the end down there. So what you're seeing is they will swim in the 1, 2, 3. They will swim in the 6 middle lanes tonight.
That's right.
From 1 at the top of your screen to 6 at the bottom. And these relays, Torey, and this is an interesting thing, these relays are situated, they're seated in randomized lanes. Is that correct?
So after everybody sends in all their data, they actually, not only are the lanes randomly assigned, but so are the team areas. So even though Overlee is technically the home team, this is a neutral venue for Divisional Relay Carnival. So what they do is they draw names out of a hat for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that's what we have for all the different team areas around the pool, as well as the lanes that they're going to be in. And through each event of the night, you'll have the relays moving up one. So to begin the evening, we're going to have McLean, Tuckahoe, Wakefield Chapel, Chesterbrook, Highlands, and Overlee in lanes 1 through 6. And then whoever's in lane 6 for event 2 will then go to the other side of the pool for lane 1, and everybody moves to the left one.
That's right. And so no one gets a clear advantage. It is hit or miss whether or not a tight race ends up next to another a big competitor or rival, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know where they're going to be. We do. We see the sheet in front of us, but they don't know ahead of time. So let's talk a little bit more about the pool. This pool has been notoriously neutral as far as speed. I have my conspiracy theories that this is a faster pool when it's cold and a slower pool when it's warm, although that probably holds true for a lot of them.
Right.
Torey, you agree this is a quicker pool?
It's probably a faster pool because you have the 2 buffer lanes on the outside, so nobody's getting a bad wake against the wall, especially as you move across. It's not incredibly deep. You only have about, I think it's...
We are very excited to host this meet again.
And we're just going to pause momentarily.
We would like to welcome all the swimmers, coaches, officials, and parents from McLean, Highlands, Wakefield Chapel, Chesterbrook, and Tuckahoe here to Overlee tonight. Like in past years, we expect a fast, fun, and exciting meet, so buckle up your seatbelts and hold on. It's going to be very loud here tonight, so please make sure to be quiet for the start after each race. These kids are all swimming for times in next week's All-Star Relays, so let's make sure they have great starts. The Overlee concession crew up on the upper deck is grilling away. They've been doing it all afternoon. They have hot dogs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, pizza, chicken sandwiches, Chick-fil-A, and more. Make sure to stop by before they sell out. We're also selling very cool Relay Carnival t-shirts by the back gate right next to the swim ninja.
As we were talking about, we're going to let the announcer just go ahead and make his general announcements. But yeah, it's a fairly fast pool. When they rebuilt it, they did put a new lip in, which can actually be pretty slick. The pool doesn't get all that deep.
And it's not lifted. This deck is not high up. This is not Tuckahoe, where you have a clear advantage of height.
You're right on the water. And when they did rebuild the pool, they actually had to cut down a lot of the trees. So this pool just bakes in the sun all summer long. However, last night, they were shooting these water cannons into the pool. So my understanding from what I heard from the pool management staff was that we were at about 90 degrees yesterday afternoon, and it came all the way under 80 degrees by last night. So
fantastic.
Hopefully this pool is a little bit cooler for these teams today.
I think the dividing line is usually about 81, 82 degrees. We get north of that, and we start to hurt. So sub 80, and we're looking fast tonight.
And it's still up in the 80s right now in the evening. It's going to cool down as that sun goes down, but it's still warm outside. All right, we're going to go ahead and pause for them to make their announcements for the meet and get ready for the national anthem. We'll be back on the other side with the girls mixed age relay, event 1.
And most of all, appropriate behavior, parents. My name is Grant Yoder, and I will be your announcer tonight, assisted by Jay Hess. So let's give a quick shout out to today's meet volunteers. Our meet manager is none other than Division I coordinator, Linda Klopfenstein. Thanks, Linda. The referee today is Joel Campbell, the chief judge is Eugene Zoe, and the starter is Gary Young. The chief timer is Kathy Bernasic, assisted by Rob Ridgway. Our table chief is Franca Gutierrez. The place recorder is Christina Wright, assisted by Kristen Zakowski. Our division data coordinator is Cheryl Ryan, assisted by Robin Hamilton. And our verifier is Vera Brown, assisted by Jim Durbin. The stroke and turn judges tonight are Dan Russell, Joyce Schaefer, Mackenzie Kearney, and Bill English. Our side judges are Mike Thomas, Mike O'Shaughnessy, Mike Moriarty, and Vance Gore. Today's chief clerk, of course, is Jenny York. Our marshals keeping us in line are Matt Anderson, Dale Proctor, Sherilyn Mizo, Stephanie McNamara, Jay Soon Lee, and Karen Williams. When you see their hands raised, that's time for you guys to be quiet. Last but not least, our runners are Christina Ewing, Shirley Farley, Liz Smith, and Kara Ryder. And I would like to give a quick shout out to Greg York and the Overlee staff for setting up all day long. It looks great, Greg. Thank you. Thank you to all these officials who have made this meet possible. We could not do it without you. Now on to each team's most dedicated volunteers. They work tirelessly all summer long. Let's put our hands together for our team reps. For Highlands, Kelly O'Shaughnessy and Maggie Scugna. For McLean, Jim Miller, Lisa Lanine, and Taryn Campbell. For Tuckahoe, Bert English and Sarah Moore. For Wakefield Chapel, Chris Anderson and Kyle Durbin. For Chesterbrook, Kelly So and Joseph Hall. And for Overlee, Kaya Orkind and Mary Wilhite. And finally, let's thank the coaches from each team. For Highlands, Kelly Rose McCullough, assisted by Jessica Cruzado. For McLean, Riley Pfaffenhauer, assisted by Linda McCullough, Will Subert, Anna Sargent, Alina Lorea, and Olivia Gore. For Tuckahoe, John Bechtold, assisted by Cabell Perot, Eva Green, and Chandler Sensabaugh. For Wakefield Chapel, Aubrey Love, assisted by Mika McIntyre and Jason Gerber. For Chesterbrook, Catherine Stuber, assisted by Hans Krohn. And for Overlee, coaches Andrew Coons and Brenda Brodus, assisted by Matt Cunningham, David Jeremiah, Isabel Lee, Michaela Morrison, Nick Pasternak, and Ellie Ellison. And one more time, out of courtesy and fairness to all swimmers, we request that you are quiet after the referee's long single whistle. Once that blows, it's now the starters' meet. So be quiet, please. Also, please turn off your cell phones or make them silent and refrain from flash photography to avoid any false starts. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem. And the flag is in the park in the...
All right, and we're back on getting ready for the start of Division I Relay Carnival here at Overlee Pool for the first event, Event 1, girls 18 under 200 meter freestyle.
200 meter freestyle relay. Swimming in lane 1, McLean. In lane 2, Tuckahoe. In lane 3, Wakefield Chapel. In lane 4, Chesterbrook. In lane 5, Highlands. And in lane 6, Overlee.
So right now, as we enter this first race, Tuckahoe and Chesterbrook are seated by only 0.02 of a second off of each other. It's going to be really exciting to see how these two teams fare.
That's Tuckahoe second from the top. Chesterbrook 4 lanes down from the top, and Overlee in the bottom lane on your screen.
Quiet for the start, quiet for the
All right,
start.
here we go.
Quiet for the start.
All right, so expect Overlee, Chesterbrook, Highlands, and Tuckahoe all to stay together right here on this first group. This is our 11-12 girls leading off the mixed age relay. Right now you got Overlee down there in lane 6 being pushed by Highlands. That's Grace Callahan with Charlotte Skogna.
Yes, got out to a quick start, the bottom 2 lanes there, Highlands and Overlee. You see Chesterbrook there making a move as well. All right, so these are the 9-10s, these are the little guys.
Yep.
So, and what makes this a beautiful relay and a kind of great representation of the NVSL is these 9-10s are in the same relay with 18-year-olds that are either leaving for college or have already done a year. So they are teammates in the truest sense of the word right now.
All right, you got more Kinsella down there in lane 6 for Overlee, holding on to a little bit of a lead, as well as that looks like Violet Dunkel for Tuckahoe in lane 2, trying to bring her team back into this, but watch out for Chesterbrook in lane 4.
Yeah, it's a 4-team race right now. Look at that, Torey. So 2, 4, 5, and 6 all at it. 2 had a dynamite start.
You're going to see
huge leap forward.
You're going to see 2 and 4 separate here with Catherine Hughes and Caroline Bergeson from Chesterbrook in lane 4 to make this a really exciting close to the race. I think that Tuckahoe has the faster 15-18 girl, but just slightly. So if they have a lead, Natalie English from Tuckahoe should be able to hold on to this one for them.
She needs a big wind-up start, and I don't see a lot of the teams doing this, particularly even these older age groups. I did not see a lot of wind-up starts. Wind-up start, they swing their arms around. You'll see that a few times. They swing their arms around and try to gain momentum before the person even touches.
So that's Natalie English to the wall first for Tuckahoe, being chased by Emily Friedman in lane 4 from Chesterbrook. But watch out for Overlee at the bottom of the screen. You have Kaylee Park down there. It looks like it's going to be all Tuckahoe on this first one.
Yeah, this is a strong win.
I have Natalie coming in at 27-0 right there. That's a great way to start this meet for the Tuckahoe Tigers.
Well, first swim of the meet. This does set the tone, Torey, but it's by no means the end-all be-all, right? We've just gotten started. This is a 2-hour odyssey.
Well, and that's what's really fun about this meet is that all these teams, when you're swimming Division I, you understand how important momentum is. So it really is important for Tuckahoe to get that win early on and try to establish momentum for their team in this meet. And all these teams are going to try to find a way to get a good win and carry that. And you'll notice that in the team areas, everybody's pretty fired up. Now they're calming down a little bit again as we get into this next race. But that's a big first win. It always is.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here, Torey, and say I'm pulling for Tuckahoe.
You're pulling for
2
Tuckahoe.
years straight of me giving him grief, and I'm pulling for him.
Well, and you have connections with pretty much every single one of the teams here today. Having grown up at Overlee, coached there and at Chesterbrook, coached kids from Chapel, Highlands, McLean. I mean, you've been everywhere.
That's right. All these teams are familiar, and all their crews are familiar. But it's fun to be back here. Overlee, it's a great viewing situation for me. Here we go.
All right, this one is the boys mixed age relay. I think that this is going to be really close between Overlee at the top in lane 1 and Highlands down here in lane 6. They have the 2 best relays entering, but again, it's Relay Carnival. It's anybody's. Early on, Evan Ingraham from Overlee out quick in lane 1, and Victor Wysgrowski down there in lane 6 from Highlands. Now, keep your eye on lane 3. Tuckahoe has an absolute hot shot of a 10-year-old, Lucas Lopez, who's going to try to jump in here and bring his team. And he goes into the water last, but don't take your eye off him too quickly.
The beauty of the 9-10 leg, Torey, is the spread in times. You'll have kids as fast as 31, 30 seconds, 32 seconds, and as slow as 38 or 39. So
right.
We could see big movement here in the middle of the pool.
Well, and again, these are only 9-10-year-olds. They're just learning how to do the flip turn. You can get out fast on that first 25 and completely miss the wall, and that's changed the race. Overlee looks like they have the early lead as Sully Portner closes it out and hands it off to Lucas Laxkin.
Well, Henry Williams from McLean there made a big move. That was a dynamite swim from him. Big, strong, powerful strokes. Just ate up big chunks of water, stroke at a time.
Now Chesterbrook is really moving up into this race. You've got Luke Bernasek down there in lane 5. He's trying to give his senior Thomas Outlaw a chance in this one. Ryan York is going to try to bring it home for Overlee. And he's going to get about a body length's lead as he goes into the water first.
That is a large lead at this age. It's a full body length, but nothing's out of the equation at this point.
Hits his wall pretty well there. Not much for underwaters, but he just gets up and goes.
Great streamline in lane 5. Thomas Outlaw, absolutely dynamite turn. You saw he came off the wall. He was clean. He streamlined. He had a good dolphin kick, and he was up.
That's a big win for Overlee. That's a big one for them. Chesterbrook touches second with Tuckahoe in third. Tuckahoe moved themselves back into that race pretty well. And just like that, we're into Division I Relay Carnival. Just 2 big swings. First for Tuckahoe, then for Overlee. Both those teams needed this one because Chesterbrook is going to contend for almost every single one of these relays today. They're a force to be reckoned with, but that was a pretty great race to see right there. All right, now we're getting to the little kids here, Christian. We've got 800 girls medley.
This is fun stuff. This is great. This is the happiest swimming viewing you'll ever watch. This is dynamite. These 800s do amazing things. And anything can happen. That's the beauty of this part of the meet.
Right.
Is that seed times and
but we don't even have seed times for these ones.
Well, even individually, you can do you can add up cumulatively their times, and it doesn't mean a whole lot. You get these little guys excited and fired up, and they get a decent dive and streamline, and that's the difference between first and sixth. So
well, and I mean, there's a few hundred people here at this pool, just as well with these kinds of 7, 6, 7, 8-year-olds. You hope that the moment's not too big for them, and they can just go out there and do what they practice every single day. But again, you have to be careful, make sure that their coaches have been working on them on getting off the block safely, fast but safely with the little ones.
So this atmosphere is probably the most excited and hyped up they've ever been in their lives.
Yeah.
This is particularly the ones that are 7 years old, this is the most exciting and probably wildest sporting event they've been to, and certainly the biggest they've been a part of. So let's see how this excitement goes.
So a few years ago, they actually changed this relay from a modified medley to a full-on medley. So we're going to go back, breast, fly, free. And with the 8 and unders, many of these kids are still just beginning to learn how to swim breaststroke and butterfly. So a lot of these kids are going to have the freestyle and backstroke down. The difference, I think, in this race is who has the kid who can really accelerate in breast and fly and not just make it across the pool.
That's right. And you'll see all kinds of different techniques. This is a real hodgepodge. You get some real great athletes here that do the stroke a little differently, have their own take on it, and they really cook.
Quiet to the start, please.
All right, you got Highlands in the top, Overlee second lane down, McLean third, fourth lane is Tuckahoe, second from the bottom is Wakefield Chapel, and Chesterbrook down there on the bottom in the white cap.
Keep your eyes on Tuckahoe and Chesterbrook in this one. Keep in mind, these kids swim freestyle relays on Saturdays, so this is the first medley relay we're seeing from the 8 and unders this season.
That's right, exchanges, how to guess when your teammate is going to touch the wall and back breast and fly.
Right.
This is brand new to them.
Absolutely. So for breaststroke, quickly, Tuckahoe is getting themselves out there and establishing themselves in this race. We have Esme Haggard for Tuckahoe, who's moving them into the first position. And it looks like you have Chesterbrook and Highlands keeping up right outside. But they're going to get a few strokes lead on butterfly.
Oh, look at lane 6. What a gorgeous butterfly. Beautiful. And you see how she undulates. It's a perfect sine wave. Hips are up, head is down, and vice versa. It's a beautiful fly. She's not the largest swimmer in the pool right now. Probably not the strongest, but just perfect technique. And look at that, they're back in it.
That was a great swim by Charlotte Wood from Chesterbrook to give her anchor leg. I believe that's Jenna Z from Chesterbrook trying to pull this one off, but Tuckahoe looks like they're going to go into the flags first here, Christian.
They are. That was a battle of breathing.
Really was.
Tuckahoe breathed less, Chesterbrook breathed more, and with little guys, this makes that much of a difference. They tend to pause when they breathe and come to a complete stop, so each one of those breaths can penalize them. And that's what we saw right there. Lane 4 held the breath, maybe took one in the middle, and then powered through.
And just put her head down. That was Isabella Cota-Robles for Tuckahoe, getting the win for the Tigers.
Nice swim, girls. Very close.
So, and you can start to see a pattern emerge. Here we see Chesterbrook move up to lane 1 at the top of your screen. Then Highlands, Overlee, McLean, Tuckahoe, and Wakefield Chapel at the bottom.
Up next will be event 4, which is the boys 800 100-meter medley relay. Then lane 1, Chesterbrook. Then lane 2, Highlands. Then lane 3, Overlee. Then
So
lane
for the
4,
uninitiated,
McLean.
those
Then
to
lane
the left,
5, Tuckahoe.
the adults in the white shirts,
Wakefield Chapel.
the adults on the left in the white shirts are evaluating the relay takeoffs, the exchanges. And the rule is simple. At the time the departing swimmer, the one on the wall, leaves the wall, a person, the swimmer in the water, coming in and finishing their segment of the race, must have a hand on the concrete. And that is a positive exchange.
All right, boys 8 and under medley relay. Same deal. This is our first time seeing these guys go to work at the breast and fly this summer. As far as a relay goes, as we look at it, I think that we're going to notice from Highlands a really big breaststroke leg. There's a game changer for Highlands coming up out there in lane 2.
Relax, swimmers.
So, as we pause momentarily,
You heard the announcer say, relax swimmers, the starter there. Sometimes that's to make an adjustment. Sometimes there's a technical issue. We appear to have an official walking around the pool deck.
yeah, it looks like there's a conversation on potentially a DQ on the far side of the pool from the last race.
Yeah, these things used to be done while the next race was going on. And the beauty of that was that the embarrassment, you couldn't single out the team. So that stuff was handled privately. And while this is the reality of the sport, these kids will disqualify. There will be relays that don't do it. This is athletics. It's nice when those things were handled a little more discreetly, but this is the nature. They're going to get this call right.
So in order for them to DQ in this, you have 2 relay takeoff judges at each end of the pool, and there needs to be dual confirmation, meaning both judges need to have seen the swimmer leave the pool at ledge before the hand of the swimmer that was in the water hit. I don't know if I did a terrible job explaining that just then.
Yeah, and I just explained it 38 seconds before that. So there, we just doubled up on you. You should know the rules by now.
And it looks like the referee is handing a slip, the disqualification slip, to the McLean team reps. So we have our first DQ of the night, unfortunately, on those 8 and under girls from McLean.
I think there's a common misconception that the swimmer on the wall is not allowed to move until that person touches. And with these younger age groups, you'll see that. That is not the case. They are allowed to move forward. They are allowed to swing their arms. They're allowed to generate energy.
A little bit of movement there on the wall. Let's see these young guys try to hold steady and get ready to just go out there and race.
A lot of nerves, a lot of high energy.
Oh, God.
Stop.
Seems like there's some technical difficulties.
Yeah, more technical issues, and that's why you don't put them in the water until we're ready to start going. That's really unfortunate. That looks like the young guy from McLean. Or no, is that Wakefield Chapter McLean? Well, that guy's going to have gotten a full 25 warm-up lap there. That's really unfortunate there to have done that to that kid.
It's all right. It's Jonathan Weeks. Jonathan Weeks, 6 years old, leading off this relay.
Hey guys, we're going to run the next race.
Great way to start this race.
And immediately getting picked up by a senior. That's what you love about the NVSL right there, is that you've got an older boy right there to go grab him, walking back to the start, make sure he's ready to go.
Fired up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a good coach or a good senior turns that into an advantage.
You don't even think about it. You just immediately get out there and grab your kid and get him ready to go and race. Well done by the McLean Marlins to pick up on that.
They're going to they pulled the guys out of the water. They're going to give them a chance to recover. And it looks like they're going to move ahead with the 9 and 10 girls relay.
Yeah.
So they'll give those guys, particularly Mr. Weeks, they'll give him a chance to recover and rest, kind of gather their composure, and they'll come back at that in a few minutes.
And that's the sportsmanlike thing to do, to let everybody have, a fair start at this. So we're going to skip ahead now to the 9-10 girls medley relay. We're still swimming 100 here, and then we'll come back to the 8 and under boys. So 9-10 girls medley. This one, it looks like it's going to be Chesterbrook, but again, I've already put my foot in my mouth a few times saying I think that there's going to be 1 or 2 teams up there, and people are stepping up. They're here to compete, Christian.
No kidding. This is nobody's going to back down at this meet. So, and I think without claiming that, I think in dual meets you might have more of that. The teams have a general idea of the way that's going to go. There's that sense of mystery here and opportunity is pervasive, and the teams that maybe wouldn't win a dual meet, they see this as an opportunity.
Right. So you have Chesterbrook in 2, Highlands in 3, Overlee in 4. Those 3 teams have not seen each other yet this season. All right, Mackenzie Corey from Chesterbrook over there in lane 2. She should be setting the pace here for this group. She only has a 25 to do it, but she's out pretty quick.
You can tell Highlands has been working their underwater dolphin kick. Sarah Winston there went a good solid 8 meters underwater.
Great relay start from McLean there. Now watch more Kinsella here in lane 4 from Overlee. She's going to try to pull the flying fish back into this race.
A history of breaststroke of the Kinsella male families. And here we go again.
All right, as we get to the halfway point, Chesterbrook definitely has the lead, but Overlee is just right there behind them. Highlands and McLean to challenge.
Slight blade start in lane 1. It was Wakefield Chapel. They're going to have to make a move here if they're going to get in this race.
All right, Annabelle Francis, can she bring it home for Chesterbrook? She's one of the fastest freestylers in the league, but she's going to get chased by McLean and Overlee. She's out quick, and Moore's twin sister, Molly, trying to hold off to get a second place for the flying fish, because this is definitely going to Chesterbrook.
That's Molly
right
Kinsella battling Joey Ferris in lane 5.
Ooh, what a finish.
Close. It looked close. I don't know if Ferris caught Kinsella there.
We have to check the timer boards on this one.
Exciting meet so far. Everybody's had a hand in those top 3 so far, I believe.
We got some results in from our first event.
Last year, Wakefield Chapel took 2nd in the Division 2 relays. Okay. So this is a large leap up there. This is a heavy step up, a big step up, and so it's exciting to see them do well.
So it looks like McLean got that one by 7/100ths of a second at a touch right there. That girl, who'd you have on that? Joey Ferris, just reaching out for the wall hard. Stepped up, turned what could have been a 3rd place into a 2nd place for the McLean Marlins. That's a great swim for those 9-10 girls.
Yeah, it was dynamite. It was a come from behind to grab that 2nd. They needed it. It's a strong swim for McLean. And what happens on these is it pushes the distance between the 2 teams, the 1st and 3rd teams, farther apart. So if Chesterbrook and Overlee, or Overlee and Tuckahoe, or Tuckahoe and Highlands are battling for 1st and 2nd in this meet, every time somebody slips between them for a 2nd place, for a silver, that creates more distance, more gap between the 2, and they've got to make up ground later. And that's what McLean just did right there. They get to play the spoiler, and they have a heck of a team, a heck of a relay there.
All right, so we're back to the 8 and under boys again here. Hopefully everything at the start end works out for us. Looks like the officials are talking about a potential early takeoff at the far end of the pool from this last race. So
we will see these.
Yeah.
Some of this is over anxious. Officials, they're trying to be on their A game as well, and they're going to play this by the rules. That was always one of the battles, one of the conundrums as a coach is how far, Torey, do you push your younger swimmers to be quick on their relay exchanges? Where is the risk-reward line? Do they wait to see a positive touch? Do they wait for that touch? Or do they leave a little bit early? Do they not watch the finish? That's an aggressive exchange for a young swimmer.
I think you game that a little bit more as you start to get older because you're spending so much time in this short summer season working with the younger swimmers, especially the 10 and unders, on mastering little things like a pull out, their underwaters off the wall, as you previously mentioned, that you almost want to sit there and be like, beat them in the water and don't worry about those tenths that you're getting off the wall. When you get into these older swimmers, by the time you're in 11, 12, especially in this kind of a meet, you have to be timing those relay takeoffs pretty quickly if you want to be able to compete. Because as we just saw, now again, that was a 9-10 race, but 0.07 of a second can be the difference between 10 and 8 points, and that's going to pay off for McLean down the road.
Are there exceptions to that? Are there times when you would push it with a younger swimmer and allow them or encourage them even to leave a little quicker, to be a little more aggressive?
You know your kids, and for athletes, especially ones that you think have, the ones that you see hanging around the diving well or at the pool, who go to the pool to practice swimming for fun because swimming at the pool is fun for them, then yeah, you might sit there and tell them to go ahead and try to get off the block a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I'd say the occasion of that might be in a dual meet where the decision of the dual meet's already been made and there's an opportunity for a relay record. You might push your luck at that moment. Other than that, these guys, like Torey said, these guys are going to play it safe. They're going to watch the person in the water touch the wall before they leave. And they'll make sure of that. And the coaches have hammered that home.
So there's some confusion on deck. I think they're trying to figure out if we're starting the 8 and under boys or 9-10 boys race. And of course, at this age, there are a few smaller 9-10-year-olds who might even look like 8 and unders. So we've just got, young swimmers all over the place over here.
Yeah, we're talking about 20 between the 8 and 9-10. There's 24 little guys on either end of the pool right now, and they're just trying to clear that up, make sure the right people are at the right place. So it looks like they're going to run the older guys. Those look older.
Make sure your teammates are across.
Well, anyways, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Division I live stream. Here we are, Torey Ortmayer and Christian Doud, the hosts of the Shave and Taper podcast, live broadcast from Overlee Pool for the Division I relays. We've got Overlee, Chesterbrook, Tuckahoe, Highlands, McLean, and Wakefield Chapel on hand for one of the most exciting meets of the night. Here we go. We've got 8 and under boys 100 medley relay.
They are going to run the 8 and unders. These guys have earned it. Let's see if our 6-year-old in lane 4 is ready to go.
Actually, you're right. This should be the 8 and under boys. There's confusion up here in the booth as well. This is the 9-10 boys.
So we're giving the little guys a little bit more rest. And here we go, 9-10 boys.
All right, so we've got
Tuckahoe in the top lane, Wakefield Chapel in lane 2, Chesterbrook, Highlands, Overlee, and McLean at the bottom. So look to lanes 3, 4, and 5. They're towards the middle of your pool. You got a strong lead in lane 6. Dynamite backstroke leg by Henry Williams.
I think Tuckahoe is going to be the favorite in this one. They're pretty solid across their 3 swimmers here. They've got a really solid breaststroke right there in Thomas Lapp. And he's going to hand it off to Kyle Coe.
1, 6, and 3 in that order for Tuckahoe, McLean, and Chesterbrook right now. With lane 5 coming on strong, Overlee in lane 5 pulling up and about to make a move on Chesterbrook.
Oh, and the question is, will Tuckahoe be able to see the guy coming at him from lane 6 at the other
strong
end of the pool?
exchange. Did you see that? Lane 3, the wind-up start by the 10-year-old in lane 3 for Chesterbrook. Jack Perlish. And it may pay off. Tuckahoe is going to take first. Did Chesterbrook sneak in there and grab the second?
Overlee even moved up in there to try to challenge pretty well, but I think that McLean's going to grab second. That's a big swim down there for Nolan Bartkowski, reeling off a 15-2 on my watch for that one. Bring home another win for Tuckahoe early on in this meet.
11-12 100-meter medley relay.
All right, the 8-unders are still getting another bye.
McLean.
It's not exactly clear what they're doing, but I guess we're just going to keep moving forward with the meet. So we're going on to 11-12 girls here.
Seems like they're giving those little guys a little more rest. And that's all right.
I wonder if there's any issues, but we're just hoping the best for those
in
guys.
lane 5, Highlands, and in lane 6, Overlee.
So yeah, look to lanes 4, 5, and 6 at the bottom of your screen. That's Chesterbrook, Highlands, and Overlee at the bottom. These are strong relays. These 11 and 12s will swim fast, and they will have fast exchanges. An exchange does matter here, Torey, 11, 12, 8.
Right. That's gonna make a huge difference in this race. A lot of these kids, especially without having the wall to be able to beat their competitor, are really gonna need to take advantage of their start here to try to make the difference in this race. As you mentioned, I think that this race is largely gonna be in the bottom 3 lanes between Chesterbrook, Highlands, and Overlee. Overlee possibly the favorite, but again, there's a lot of strong swimmers out there, and they're gonna have to make it happen right there from the start. The other fun thing about this age group is that by the time you're about 11, 12, you've decided to start taking swimming pretty seriously. Many of these kids here are already practicing 4, 5, 6 or more times a week. 4 o'clock in the morning, they're pretty committed to the sport, and it shows up. And these 25s, I think it levels the playing field out a little bit for your just traditional summer league swimmers, because we're all racing 25s. But as we already saw in the mixed age relay, adding that 50 really does make a difference. This is going to be interesting, though.
Yeah, I wonder if sooner or later, Torey, they'll go to 50s for these guys as well. The ones that are swimming year-round are doing 2 lengths of the pool, 4 lengths of the pool, 8 lengths of the pool. So we may see that in the years to come. So the only issue here, if you look, you'll see the sunlight glinting off the lanes over by the top right of your screen, and these backstrokers will catch some of that sun in the corner of their eye.
Quiet for the start.
The other thing that we're noticing here is that many of these relays are reconfiguring how they've raced this so far in the first 3 weeks. Right here, I noticed that Overlee's changed up what they've done in their past few weeks. This is Grace Callahan going first, but she's handing it off Charlotte Wilhite down at the bottom.
Almost a dead heat between 4 and 6 right there.
And that's Aaliyah Majid Hall for Chesterbrook in lane 4. Looks like you have Chapel moving up with Tuckahoe to give Highlands a little bit of a push.
It's Wilhite and Majid Hall battling it out there, and Wilhite, what a powerful 25 breaststroke.
Hannah Portner goes off first for Overlee. She's being chased by Emily Rayburn and Charlotte Skogna from Highlands behind her, and she's going to give a lead here to Aida Young to bring it home. She's going to give her at least a full body. Safe starts there, getting off the block, try to make sure you win in the water.
And it looks like Overlee's going to pull away on this one.
Overlee's
going to finish too strong.
Good finish, kept her head down, hit the wall hard. Love to see it as a coach. And Tuckahoe moved up there on the far side to take 4th with Chapel and McLean finishing behind them.
And it's good. They had a tight battle there with Chapel through the first 3 legs. They earned it in the last leg. So right now it's anybody's game. We are starting to see a general trend to Overlee and Chesterbrook moving towards the top, but again, it's anybody's game. And when we switch to the freestyle relays in the second half, the teams that are traditionally strong on the free or strong this year on the freestyle, they'll get a chance to make their move.
And Thomas Outlaw. And in first place, the team from Overlee with a winning time of 1:53.02.
So it's hard to tell at this early stage. I don't think that anybody's necessarily taken off just yet in this meet and really established themselves as far and away. I think that, and of course I'm completely speculating because there may have been a DQ or 2 in these last few races that we haven't seen the slip passed off during, but
some more results.
Chesterbrook, Tuckahoe, Overlee, Highlands are all right there. I think even with those big wins, though, from McLean moving up, they're still in the conversation for the moment. We're going to see if their older kids can hang on here.
I like it. No more results.
We're going to take a close look at the 5 teams that were in Division I last year and look at the solid wall of color up against the fence watching. And then take a look at Wakefield Chapel there in the corner, the top left of your screen. You'll see Wakefield Chapel. And those kids have started to drift off a little bit. And this is that cliff of energy we talked about, that steep climb between Division II and Division I where your energy level has got to be up.
Right. That's a Division I effect, absolutely. Okay, here we go, 11-12 boys. Similar to that last race, I think we're going to have the same 3 teams, Overlee, Chesterbrook, Highlands. Overlee's on that far side.
So far, my theory hasn't held up yet, although we may see it in the older guys. But my theory, you know this, Torey, I've talked about it many times ad nauseum, is that the lanes closest to the deep water are going to go faster. But today, these bottom lanes, the bottom of your screen, 5 and 6, they've been strong. And here we go.
That's a great leadoff leg for Victor Weiss-Brodsky for Highlands. We got Billy Weber on the far side of the pool looking to be a difference maker for Overlee. He's just brought them all the way back and given them some. That's a full body from Overlee in lane 1.
Well, in the middle 3 lanes are battling. They're catching the tail end of lanes 5 and 6 down there. So.
All right, so you've got Matthew Aslaskin for Overlee up there in lane 1, trying to hand it off to Matthew Bailey to bring it home for a win. But he's getting caught right here by Highlands in lane 1. And the thing is, can either one of them see each other across the pool?
Gus Tierney left, not early. It wasn't a false start, but it was quick. It was a decent exchange.
Ooh. And that was a big win for Overlee on the far side of the pool. Did Chesterbrook catch Highlands at the very end of that race?
They may have. So, and Matthew Rose's exchange was not the quickest exchange, but he was extremely strong, and it's a 25. And it looks like he made up enough ground. We'll see here soon.
The girls 800 100-meter medley relay. In third place, the team from Overlee.
He got him by 1.
Hugo Kaplan.
No, Highlands held him by 0.05 of a second. 102.83, 102.88.
5 100s. So that exchange right there, an exchange can add or subtract a half second or more. A real solid wind-up exchange compared to a positive exchange where a swimmer is watching someone touch and then begins their movement. The difference between that and a full wind-up start, a step start, can be a half second or more. And not just because they're beginning to move and leaving over the pool, but because they have momentum. They're building momentum with that single step and with those arms. Much like you would if you were to swing a heavy bag around in a circle, and then when it comes back around, not let go of it, it would pull your arms forward. And that's what that does. When they swing forward, just the weight of their arms and hands swinging around, the weight of their arms and hands will swing them out over the pool and give them that tiny amount of momentum that they need.
It's definitely starting to show up when you see it, as you just said, into the 11-12 age group. And it's going to become more and more apparent with these older kids who have a lot of experience using that quick relay takeoff start.
I was going to say it's a game of Newtons, but I'm not sure if that's the proper scientific term, Torey.
Newtons?
Yeah, and the force pounds or something there.
I was a history major, so what do I know? All right, we're back to the 800 boys now. So I think Highlands and Chesterbrook, who are up there in lanes 1 and 2, are going to be the ones pushing the pace here. Overlee and McLean, 3 and 4 just below, should be in it, though. And look at Chapel. That guy can just swim straight. He's going to be right there with them all, but it's Chesterbrook to start it off. But keep your eyes on Highlands here. They've got the breaststroker, Gabe Hansen. This kid can actually control his acceleration. He's figured out how to swim breaststroke at a young age, and he's already putting his team right back into this race.
Weeks, the young 6-year-old that swam the whole length of the pool in the first iteration of this race, just did a dynamite swim. Look at them. They're right in the hunt now. Looks like they're in 4th place, 6 years old, swimming against 7- and 8-year-olds.
All right, so we've got Highlands in 2 and Wakefield Chapel down here in 6. Chesterbrook right behind him, though. And Highlands looks like they're just trying to move along. Look at that 8-number butterfly. Evan Farley trying to hold on for Highlands, and he's being chased by Maddox Corey from Chesterbrook. They're going to send their teams in almost even.
Well, and Frederick Papadoulis in 3 from Overlee here. A real strong butterfly and put them right back in the hunt. Just puts them right back in 3rd place. A strong effort by Frederick.
Wow. That's a big swim from William O'Neill for the Chesterbrook Tiger Sharks. He definitely went to the water behind, but he came back hard for Chesterbrook there to take a big 14 points. They've so far Chesterbrook has just missed getting those first place points in a lot of races that they thought they should be there. But that's a great swim. Way to come back and get that one. All right, 13-14 girls. Now, as we get to these older age groups, Christian, things start to get really exciting. A lot of these kids, they all know each other very well, especially given where all these pools are. They swim against each other and together in club swimming and high school swimming. This is a really exciting race right here. The 13-14 girls from Chesterbrook set the NVSL Saturday record for the 100 medley relay. They're going to be challenged really well by Tuckahoe, but I'm telling you, I think Chesterbrook's going to make a really good shot at that NVSL record. The time to beat is 2:04.41.
And Chesterbrook will be in the lane at the bottom of your screen. This is an exciting age group, exciting speed. These guys are super fast, aggressive swimmers, typically year-round.
Up next to that, 9 girls.
So leading it off, Kate Sheridan and for Chesterbrook and Catherine Hughes for Tuckahoe up in lane 4. The 2 fastest backstrokers in the NVSL at the moment.
If you'll notice, if you look to the right of the pool at the starting side, you'll notice that they're holding the ankles of the swimmers. This is not the case in Olympic swimming. They will hold the blocks.
Yeah, that's true summer league form right there.
So you're seeing them hold the ankles, and even in some cases, they'll get assistance from the swimmer behind them. Solid starts across the board.
Great underwaters from Catherine Hughes in lane 4.
4, 5, and 6, dynamite. Dynamite underwaters and pull ahead. There's a struggling turn in lane 3. That was McLean, Victoria Valco. She's strong in between the flags. Can she pull it back and come back in here?
All right, big leadoff leg for Catherine Hughes. I have her at 30.9 leading off for Tuckahoe.
Yeah, and if you watched her swim, what you saw was gorgeous technique, proper head position, chin up, and a fast turnover rate. So her arms are spinning quickly and grabbing water. A deadly combination of strength and speed.
That was a big breaststroke. First 25 from Ellie Leonard from Chesterbrook. She's about to hand it off to her twin sister, Patricia, going in the butterfly.
So the bottom 3 lanes you're looking at right there.
It's Tuckahoe, Chapel, and Chesterbrook.
And it looks like Chapel's going to hang in this thing. They're not going to give away this race.
Now, Chapel has a bunch of really good swimmers as well. Right now, we're watching Murray.
That's Patricia Leonard in Chesterbrook. And we've got Megan Murray in Chapel in lane 5. And lane 4 is Hadley Siebert.
31-1 for Leonard on the freestyle. She's handing off to Caroline Bergeson right here.
3 very different freestyles. You look at the bottom lane, so kind of an exaggerated stroke where she flicks the water out the back with her right arm. It's a long, fast stroke. The second one is a more traditional high elbow. And then over there in lane 4, very long straight arm there with the left arm.
Yeah,
there is differences.
So back-to-back big wins for Chesterbrook. Caroline Bergeson takes first place with her Chesterbrook Tiger Sharks. Had her clocked at 27-1 right there. Caroline's gotten some great experience over this past year. She anchored the Yorktown High School medley relay that won a state championship and just was named All-American this past week. So good job, Chesterbrook. A great team effort. Looks like they're going to be at 2:05.0. So they still have some work to do to get down to 2:04.4 next week if they're going to try to break that league record. But great swim as we get into the older kids 200 medley relay.
Up next will be event 10, the boys 13-14 200-meter medley relay. In lane 1, Chesterbrook. In lane 2, Highlands. In lane 3,
all right, 13-14 boys. This one, I believe, is going to be all Tuckahoe. They're loaded. Their backstroke and butterfly legs are just absolute game changers. It's a matter of just not giving up on the breaststroke and making sure we come home hard on freestyle. But watch out for Chesterbrook at the back end of this race. They're going to have Luke Bernasek chasing hard in freestyle.
Luke, younger brother of Ollie, the great swimmer. So Bargava, Bernasek to finish up that Chesterbrook relay. It's a strong finish, you're right.
Chesterbrook will be on the far side of the pool. Tuckahoe's all the way down here in 5. Highlands is right in this one as well, so don't take your eyes off of them with those bright green caps. But watch JT Ewing right here, lead off for Tuckahoe Tigers on the backstroke leg. He's going to be out real fast.
Quiet for the start.
Long delay there. Long delay, but these guys handle it in stride.
Yeah,
at this age, they've done this a million times, and,
right.
and they're ready to go.
Quiet for the start, please.
Really good start for Ewing. He gets a full body just on his underwaters. That was about 13, 14 meters right there from the start. He's going to go into the wall with a commanding lead right here. Look at that turn. Unreal underwaters. That's a game changer in this sport if you can hit your underwaters well. Hits the wall 27-0. 27-0 on that leadoff leg. Hands it off to Eman Rovelas.
Not far off from the NVSL record.
No.
Right now it looks all Tuckahoe. 2 solid front legs that can predict the Torey, and here they go.
Oh, and here we go as he's going to hand this one off to Nolan Dunkel, who's an absolute standout of a 13-year-old in butterfly.
The question is, can lane 1 or 4 hang in there? In any of the first 4 lanes, can they stay in this with their flyer? And they're going to have to make up ground because 2 or 3 seconds will be too much for the anchor. And I don't see it. You look at lane 4. Excuse me, you look at 5, you watch Nolan Dunkel. You watch how smooth his butterfly is. It's perfect form, but he's grabbing a ton of water. Moving huge distance each time he grabs that water.
27-7, and that's almost a whole half length that we have Stefan Jafari leading it for Tuckahoe right here.
Yep, and here comes lane 1.
Chesterbrook's chasing hard, but that's too much room for him to have to make up in 150.
They made up some huge ground.
That's actually a really good swim for all those guys right there. I had them right at 157 or so. This is going to be pretty close. Maybe those timers got a faster touch to the watch, but
McLean pulls 3rd there.
Yep.
Another strong race. We've seen McLean do this a couple times.
Yep.
They've been up there in the top 3 a couple times. And they could play spoiler today.
Some more results from event 6, the boys 9-10 100-meter medley relay. In 3rd place, the team from Chesterbrook, Paxter Warren, Bobby Ormland, Cameron Parkamenko, Jack Perlish. In 2nd place, the team from McLean, Henry Williams, Charles Lanine, Houghton Neppy, and Paxton Sand. And in 3rd place, the team from Tuckahoe, with winning time of 112.5, Lucas Lopez, Thomas Lapp, Kyle Coy, and Nolan Bartkowski. Nice job, Tuckahoe. Up next will be event 11, which is the girls 15-18 200-meter medley relay. In lane 1, Wakefield Chapel. In lane 2, Chesterbrook. In lane 3, Highlands. In lane 4, Overlee. In lane 5, McLean. And in lane 6, Tuckahoe.
All right, 15-18 girls relay. This is going to be a great race right here. Overlee's been dominant in this event for about the last decade, but they're going to get a good challenge from Chesterbrook in lane 2. Overlee just over 2 lanes from them.
Right. Fast starts across the board.
Yeah. Jillian Johnson in 2, Mary Kate Reicheter in 4, Natalie English down there in 6. Those
Dynamite start from English. Great first 15 meters.
Looks like English and Reicheter to start it off. I think the game changer in this one right here is going to be Kaylee Park, the breaststroke leg for Overlee. She's headed off to Duke in the fall. We haven't seen her full potential in a breaststroke leg yet this summer, but she's suited up. She's ready to go.
Wow, they were cutting it close there. If you were watching lane 4's exchange, the swimmer that left, the breaststroker that left, only had a couple toes left on the wall when the backstroker touched the concrete.
Yeah.
And that's the ideal exchange. But they are fully extended over the water.
So right now, it's Overlee out first with Chesterbrook, Highlands, Tuckahoe, and Chapel all fighting for that second place spot. Kaylee's now going to hand it off right now to Kate Bailey, who's a great 15-year-old swimmer. I'd park at 32.7 on that breaststroke split right there.
It's one of the fastest splits in history. Extremely fast breaststroke split.
Bailey nice and smooth over the surface of the water. Good turn, gets off that wall quick. You've got Chesterbrook and Highlands now challenging each other for that second place spot. That's Sky Sunderhoff. She's going to hand it off to Allison Martin here, with Gabby Perotti going to Emily Friedman on the freestyle leg.
Sprintz hasn't given up much distance in lane 1 either for Chapel. So she had some ground to make up, and she held that ground. But it may be too much for Chapel to move up into second or third.
So this one's definitely going to be all Overlee as Alexis Lee brings this home for the Flying Fish. But looks like Chesterbrook in that white cap at the top of the screen is just edging ahead right there.
Watch Madeline Donahoe. Look at this. These last 2 legs for Chapel have been fantastic.
Ooh, right there at the finish. I think Chesterbrook got that one. Madeline Donahoe, who is a world-level distance swimmer, comes home and swims with her Chapel team. She traveled all over Europe back in the month of June at the Mare Nostrum events, and all of them. She was out there swimming. I watched it this morning, swimming the 1500 there. Great to see her get out and swim a 50 in short course meters.
Great change of pace.
Right.
Outdoors, no blocks, sunny, lots of noise. You're not going to see this noise at many of the USA Swimming or international meets.
In lane 1, one quick second. You need to check the boards.
And now it looks like Overlee's jumping up and down. They may have just broken the NVSL record. Yup, under 159 once again. 159.14. That's going to break their own record from 2017 of 159.68. A whole half second right there.
Even as late as the mid-90s, that would have been top 10 in the guys' side. So we're starting to see times that are this is a leap forward in swimming speed. In the last 10 years, these girls have gotten so much stronger, so much fitter, very athletic, very powerful. So there's an element of power here that I don't think we've seen before in generations past on the women's side. And these guys are putting up incredibly fast times.
Well, that 32-second breaststroke split, I think most of these boys relay teams right here would be happy to get a 32 out of their breaststroke.
That's right.
So now we're going into the final race of the medley relays right before we get to the halfway point. As we mentioned at the top of this show, we're going to have Chesterbrook right there in the middle of the pool in lane 3. These guys set the Saturday record for the 15-18 boys medley relay this past week at Tuckahoe, going 144 high. They're going to need to take about 2/10 of a second off to try to break Fox Mill Woods' 200 medley carnival record from a year ago. Nice plug from the announcer right there. Appreciate that. Grant Yoder, great meet announcer here at Overlee. All right, so this is Ryan Mathis leading off for the Chesterbrook Tiger Sharks. We're going to have McLean's Robert Lukey down there in lane 6, but it's really going to be all Chesterbrook. We'll see how well Highlands can hang in this one.
Chesterbrook up first and out first. Riding the lane there right before the turn. So sometimes when there's a little sun, a little glint in the corner of your eye, you might lose a little distance. He rubbed up on it on his right shoulder. Seems to have recovered nicely.
But look at how he's holding that turnover rate on his backstroke as he drives into the wall and hands off to Tyler Lentine. I had Mathis out in 26.4. That's pretty quick. All right, so he's getting chased by Joseph Schaefer from Wakefield Chapel. Then you've got Ben Charles, who just committed to the University of Texas.
Schaefer has pulled even and now pulled ahead. And Schaefer is blowing right by him. It's aggressive press. You see how he pushes his chest down in the water aggressively? There's that undulating movement, what we used to call the wave breaststroke. Now it's just breaststroke.
But this might be the game changer right here. Ryan So takes over for the Tiger Sharks in butterfly. Fast to that wall right there. Look at those underwaters. That's just a game breaker right there. When you're only having to take 5, 6 strokes on top of the water, and you can kick that far. 25-5, 50 fly. Hands it off to Thomas Outlaw, who's going to bring this home. Now the question is, can Highlands catch Wakefield Chapel right here and take the second place points into the break right here?
I think he'll do it. A faster turnover and a faster turn. But it looks tight. Well, John Schaefer's not going to exceed this at all. Did not concede a race, and there he is. He takes it.
I have Outlaw.
Good for Chapel.
Yeah, I have Outlaw going 23-7. I think this isn't going to break that record yet. This is 146-00 for the Chesterbrook Tiger Shark boys. So they're going to need to do some work before they come back next week if they're going to try to take down that record. But good enough to take a clear first place as we wrap up the medley relay.
From event 7, which was the girls'
all right.
100-meter medley relay.
So as we come to
third place,
close of this one.
team from Highlands, Sabrina.
12 events in.
12 events in, that's right. And what we've got left are the freestyle relays. And while this would seem like
Chesterbrook, Kiara Gutierrez, Aaliyah Majid Hall,
that everybody has a shot at this favors teams that are typically strong freestyle teams.
Right.
So, and what do we mean by that? We mean teams that have typically attracted maybe or developed stronger freestyle groups, and I think Tuckahoe is one of those teams. Tuckahoe in the past has always had fast freestylers. In fact, many NVSL record holders and, of course, many records set at their pool. So they are a freestyle-heavy team. I'd like to see them make a move.
Well, and again, that's the difference about, and what's great about Summer League swimming is that you're going to have, especially in a meet like this, so many kids who are swimming club who really have a ton of experience, especially in those strokes. But freestyle with the younger kids, that's the first stroke everybody learns how to swim. When everybody needs to swim a freestyle relay, now you're starting to lean to the team that just knows how to go out and race. And it's not even so much about who's getting the most work, the 12 months of the year beyond the 2 weeks that we're here in the summer.
That's right. This is a spin them. So get up there, spin those arms, spin those legs, and get moving.
And other than the 8 and unders, again, we haven't seen any of these other teams swim a freestyle relay. We've seen a lot of these kids swim freestyle in their individual events on Saturdays, but it's completely different when you put 4 guys together, getting a fast start off the block, trying to swim a 100 or 200 freestyle relay. So we're going to take a quick break here before we come back for the freestyle relays, as the officials and everybody here at the meet does as well. I'm sure everybody's going to come back with some energy with the sun setting just behind the far side of the pool. Everybody that's listening, go and check out shopswimninja.com. Get all of your Swim Ninja merchandise. If you use a live stream, promo code livestream, all caps, you'll get yourself a nice little discount. Find yourself a nice tank or t-shirt. Never too soon to start buying a holiday gift for your loved ones, or even you want to look good at the meets this summer. Go ahead, buy yourself a nice Swim Ninja t-shirt or tank top and use promo code livestream. We'll be right back in a few minutes.
Parents, some more results from earlier in the day. This was the round 2 of event 4, which was the boys 8 and under 100-meter medley relay. In third place, the Flying Fish from Overlee, James Howard Hankey, Brian Kinsella, Frederick Papadopoulos, and Tyler Geese. In second place, the team from Highlands, with a new team record of 127.53. Congratulations, Highlands. Oliver Toller, Gabriel Hansen, Evan Farley, Wyatt Russell. And in first place with a winning time of 126.45, the team from Chesterbrook, Manu Mahir, Carden Nolan, Maddox Corey, William O'Neill. Nice job, guys. More results. Event 8, which was the boys 11-12 100-meter medley relay. In third place, the team from Chesterbrook, Andrew Lohman, Liam Corty, John Rayburn, Matthew Rose. In second place, the team from Highlands. I'm going to apologize to Victor in advance. Victor Wozgrowski, Landon Moore, Curran Palmer, and Gus Tierney. And in first place with a winning time of 101.81, the Flying Fish from Overlee, Evan Ingram, Billy Weber, Matthew Islaxon, and Matthew Bailey. Nice job, Overlee. Officials, we have 2 minutes left on the break, so make sure you are in your proper position based on the rotation. Officials and timers, please get back to your location. Thank you. All right, officials, 1 minute till we're getting started again. 1 minute. If you are an 8 and under boy, you should be in the clerk of course. If you are 8 and under and swimming the freestyle relay, please make your way to the clerk of course. Hey, timers, if you are timing, actually if you're not timing right now, you're in the wrong place. So please come back to your lane so we can get started.
All right, and we're back with the freestyle relays. Leading it off, we have the 8 and under girls freestyle. To be honest, we've been trying to give you guys some predictions as far as what we thought may or may not happen with the first few events, but it's anybody's guess at this point, Christian.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to know, particularly when some of these swimmers have not swum freestyle all summer. So you would have no idea what their splits are. You can take a gander and you have a guess and you say, we know how strong this person is an overall swimmer, but we don't know. We don't know the times. And again, with these 10 and unders, the 8 and unders and 9 10s, the exchange, this careful exchange they must make, can make or break these relay results. So let's watch this takeoff, and we'll watch the first exchange down on the left side of your screen.
All right, so I think Chesterbrook is going to be a strong team here. They've got a bunch of girls. Actually, watch for them to even potentially be in the mix to break a league record here. That's bold to say, but they've got 3 girls who are all 17 seconds or faster.
Nora Bartkowski started off great for Tuckahoe. She had a super fast start, great streamline, and came up and I think won that first 25. And they're hanging in there. They're still there. This is a Tuckahoe-Chesterbrook race for now.
This might be Tuckahoe's spot to move, but I think they front-loaded their relay on the first 2 swimmers there, Christian.
It appears that's the case, but the little one in lane 2 is really booking. I believe that's Jillian Byer. Got a great kick. You see the splash behind her?
But Gabby Donnelly's going to hand this one off right now to Charlotte Wood. She's hoping to bring it home for them.
So it's heating up for a little battle here for third. That's lanes 3, 5, and 6. Chapel, Highlands, and Overlee at the bottom. Looks like Highlands and Overlee are going to have a little battle here for third place.
Ooh, Overlee's trying to move in there and steal that third place.
Oh, don't breathe. So there was a breath there on Highlands. Overlee moved right past, kept her face in the water, didn't pause to breathe, and took that win. Took that third place. Dynamite little steal there.
Nice job, girls.
So in years past, Overlee would be surrounded by trees, and at this time of night in the summer, the shade would be starting to go down. It'd start to get pretty dark here, and we still have light, Torey. This is still a day meet for now. The lights have not come on.
Boys 800-100-meter freestyle relay. In lane 1.
Yeah, so Overlee took that third place. Chesterbrook went 1, Tuckahoe went 2. Now we're moving into the 8 and under boys 100-meter freestyle relay.
Highlands.
And again, watch the streamlines on the starts. When these swimmers dive in, they will attempt to make themselves in the position of the pencil. So for those of you not in the swim community, that's that arms overhead, hands clasped together. When they dive in, they're going to want to be in that position and slice through the water.
All right, Highlands and Chesterbrook down here in 5 and 6, nearest to us. That's where most of this meet should be, but watch McLean being a part of this race up there in lane 2.
Cardin Nolan battling it out right now with Sasha Williams. Looked like a dead heat there at the first leg.
Maddox Corey and Wyatt Russell down here, but lane 2, McLean, Declan Gilhooly.
And Declan's holding his breath. Look at that. Up, one there at the flags. He just face down, finishes hard. There we go. So still a tight battle, 3 legs in. McLean's not giving up much ground either. So let's see who's got the anchor leg that can bring it home and maybe pull out some distance between them.
Now we saw William O'Neill a few events ago bring this home for Chesterbrook. I don't know if anybody's going to catch him here. He's got a full lead to the flags on his start. This looks like it's going to be all Chesterbrook, Highlands to chase with McLean on the far side of the pool.
Well, it looks like Overlee might move up and grab this third place. It's going to be close. No. McLean holds on for third, Overlee in fourth. And there's your 8 and under boys.
Now we enter the great unknown. We don't know what's happening here, Christian. All we can do is look at some times of how fast these kids are in their 50s and try to guess at who might be quick, but we're just going to let the swimming come to us now.
And again, it's a couple of huge elements to this. These kids, as Torey said, do not swim 25s. These 9-10s do not swim 25 freestyles. They swim 50s, and you'd think that Logic would say that conventional wisdom would say that this is an easier swim, but it's not. It's a different swim. It's a much higher speed, much shorter. The kids that take a while to get ramped up and spin their arms, they need a little more runway, so to speak, to build up speed. This does not favor them. So even some of those kids that you'd see that would be dynamite 100 freestylers at this age.
Or even 200.
Or even 200s or 100 IMs or 200 IMs. This doesn't favor them. So the tall, the strong, the fast, and the aggressive, who wants it more, pays off at these 9-10s. And again, exchanges are huge. And we'll see, and we've talked about this already tonight, we'll see which relays and at what age these kids start to get a little more aggressive with their exchanges. And this 9-10 freestyle, it's a little easier to predict when that arm will come around and touch the wall. And if you know you've done those freestyle exchanges, you've seen those arms come around, you understand kind of their speed and their rhythm, breast and fly are a little harder to guess. So the person on the wall leaving will have an opportunity here to do a fast exchange.
All right, girls 9-10. So Chesterbrook down here in 6. Gotta like them in this race, but I think there's 4 other teams with Highlands, Overlee, McLean, and Tuckahoe, and 1 through 4 that are going to be a part of this race as well. A little bit of a flinch there at the start. Good stand.
Excellent start in lane 1. Highlands, real quick.
So that's McLean and Tuckahoe inside her, pushing the pace. Chesterbrook down here in 6.
Tight heat to start.
Right. So now we're going to find out who front-loaded their relays, meaning who put their strongest swimmers in the first 1 or 2 spots, and who decided to save it for the back end.
And we got our answer on the fast exchanges. Mackenzie Corey in Chesterbrook at the bottom of your screen, leading when Taylor Shin swam in. Super fast start, and it paid off. She held their lead going into the 3rd leg.
But McLean right there in lane 3, they're doing everything they can. But Annabelle Francis, who I believe is their fastest freestyler for the 9-10 girls, she's going 3rd. So they're going to put the pressure right here on Chiara Mizo. See if she can hold on. She's getting a few seconds head start. She's got a little bit of a straight arm going on down there.
She's got about a bi-length and a half lead. The question is, can lane 3 make up the distance? It doesn't look like it.
And she better get in there quick because Highlands is charging hard in that outside lane. Wow. So McLean takes 2nd. Looks like Highlands 3rd and Overlee 4th.
You know, that 9-10 girls free relay, the Chesterbrook team, their team record 1:00:52 was set in 1999. It's a 20-year-old team record.
And that's rare because
you'll notice a fast time for today.
You'll notice that most of the relay records in this meet were set sometime in the last few years.
Yeah, no one was within 3.5 seconds of that today. And it tells you how quick that is. It's a 20-year-old record that would have won today by about 3 body lengths.
Yeah.
So they would have been at the wall when the other teams were coming into the flags. It gives you an idea of the distance.
And you would have been there with a lot of those kids. Emma Welch, Katie Dibble.
I was coaching that group in '99. It was Welch, Dibble, Lee Kramer, and Bragg. And they were fantastic, but they held their breath. So we have not seen a lot of that tonight. It's been hit or miss with kids breathing, and that's an acquired skill. I think in the last 20 years there's a move away from that to some degree. Certainly with older sprinters, there was a move away from that. If they had oxygen, they could supply themselves, and they could keep their power up as they finished even a 50. But as we've seen that trickle down into the younger age groups, and I don't see that coached as much anymore. Do you, Torey?
I think some of the science on it has changed a little bit, and so coaches don't force just that point as much, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah, where we see that difference is in those last 10 meters, the last third of the pool. And when they take that breath, they come to a pause. and they're tired. So that pause becomes longer. And people that are close or on their feet can then pull ahead. So the penalty is much greater for breathing there at the end of your race.
Now, I would have said that Tuckahoe should be the favorite in this one, but they stood almost straight up on that start, getting a little bit slippery down there.
And we've got a dead heat because of it.
Yep.
Anybody's race. And this is what you want to see. This is the beauty of Summer League swimming. 6 kids, 6 10-year-olds, 9 10-year-olds from around the area, all right there battling it out. Nobody knows who's going to win. Hundreds of onlookers cheering. This is dynamite. This is the
Overlee
energy
and
level we
Tuckahoe,
love.
they're getting out first. Everybody is right in this race. Oh, great underwaters by Tuckahoe right there. That's Kyle Coe. He's going to take a strong third leg right into his anchor up here with McLean and Overlee right there to challenge.
Yeah, Lucas Lopez going to anchor for Tuckahoe, and he's got to hold on. He has got a big guy in lane 4.
Wow. But look at
Henry Williams is chomping at the bit, and he has come on strong, and it looks like they're going to catch him.
Not quite.
Almost. Tight race. Run through 4. No more than 3/4 of a second between the 4 of them.
Guys.
And this is it. We come down here to the last couple of age groups. We've got these 11, 12s, 30, 14s, and 15, 18s. And it will only get more exciting, and the speeds will grow. You will see the fastest 4 freestyles, some of the fastest relays in the Washington, D.C. area here. As this meet, we pull into the late inning, the 3rd period of this meet, so to speak.
All right, 11-12 girls, 100-meter free.
Yeah, the league record in this Chesterbrook is a 54-2-1, and that was set 2 years ago. It's a super fast time.
Yeah.
And if you look, the team records for all of these teams, all 6 of them, all within a second of each other. These are the fastest freestyle relays in the league.
We saw
all set in the last.
We saw the Overlee Flying Fish 11-12 girls dominate their last relay, so we'll see if they can pull it all together here for a freestyle relay. They're down there in lane 4. Last
Not
off the block, though. Yep.
You might wonder why Torey would say, can they pull it together for a freestyle? There are times when you have a breaststroke or a backstroke specialist that is not a freestyle sport.
Right.
That is not their thing. These kids develop strokes at different ages and different points along their athletic journey, and sometimes freestyle is not the first stroke that they master. Right now, it looks strong. Lane 4 looks super strong. That's Overlee.
Yep.
Will Height with a dynamite swim.
Out quick, but Highlands, Chesterbrook, McLean, they're all there to challenge it. And McLean is moving right back into this thing. They're going to have a little bit of lead going into the wall here. Can Aida Young bring it home for Overlee?
Danielle Hughes for Tuckahoe, great exchange. She's right there on the heel, too. But it looks like the middle 4 lanes. You're right.
Uh-oh. This might be Highlands. I don't know if Overlee's going to get there for this one. That looks like Highlands on the reach. Great backhand swims by Maggie O'Shaughnessy and Charlie Scogna, taking home the first place for the Highlands Whomping Turtles. Aida Young challenging hard, and Emily Rayburn on the other side for Chesterbrook, but just not quite able to get it.
Next we have event 18.
This is great. 11-12 boys. The record here is the Rutherford Water Rats. This is the league record. A 53-26 from 2016. The oldest record in here among these teams today is McLean's from 2010. So a little bit older records. These are 7, 8, 9 years old from these teams. So who knows? Maybe we'll see somebody step up and break it. We expect the Chesterbrook boys to be strong here at 11-12.
Chesterbrook will be very strong. I expect Overlee to be actually out there. They won the medley relay a little bit over an hour ago. So let's see if Overlee can hang on here and get a win. That was a really important win for Highlands right there, I'll tell you. It's not. We don't know what the score is. We went down at the break to try to find out. They're not releasing that information. So I promise you, as everybody's in the dark right here and just trying to feed off just how they feel in the meet, that was a really big win for Highlands to take right there away from Overlee. Let's see if the 11-12 boys can get them back on track.
And once again, if Chesterbrook is in first like we assume, that pushes the distance between Chesterbrook and Overlee.
Right.
It spreads them further apart.
All right, Chesterbrook, Highlands, Overlee, Billy Weber, Victor Wysgrodzki, Matthew Rose leading off.
Exchanges were everything right there. And if you were watching lane 3, the Chesterbrook exchange was not the best exchange.
Gus Tierney had a really good start for Highlands, and he's going to take the lead into the back end here. Oh, that was a fast start for Highlands.
Those of you watching, the pink cap came in, and the green cap may have left early. I don't think they caught it.
Well, we wouldn't know.
Quick exchange.
Because they won't lift their head or do anything, so we won't know until after the race. But it's Highlands out in front right now. Chesterbrook and Overlee are going to try to chase, but there might be too much distance here for them to do it.
This is an important race for second right here.
Well, and I'll say, though, for Highlands having just won that race by as much as they are, there's not a lot of excitement in their team area. So they may seem to think that there might have been a false start on that one. I mean, they're sitting right there at the start end of the pool, and we thought that we saw that pretty clear up here.
If you look over at the green team, you'll see faces of apprehension. They do not know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does, but it was pretty clear to me.
Which is why then, as we look at second place, because it looked like Chesterbrook and Overlee came to the wall really close, that now might be who takes the first place points. 56.17 for lane 5 for Overlee, 56.96 up there for Chesterbrook. That might go from being 10 points for Overlee into 14. That's a big jump if our feelings on this false start are confirmed here. And there's a little bit of a pause as the officials have a conversation.
Yeah. If their result stands, they will have broken their team record by a little over a half second.
Yeah, but
we will see if those results pan out.
Well, and the worst part about it even is that even not getting the points tonight, by DQing today, you are not able to qualify for All-Stars next week. And these are the only 2 meets where you get to swim a freestyle relay all season long.
That's right. It is a one and done if you fall start. So there are no second chances, and they won't take your ranks or results or individual times and add them up. There's no like they do with ice skating, and in certain countries their Olympic selection where they'll take people that won the world championships or ranked high. That means nothing here. You must earn your spot in All-Star Relays next Wednesday.
And in first place with a winning time of 1:59.
So we'll remind you that there are 17 divisions in the NVSL, and there are 16 other of these meets taking place right now as we speak.
That's right.
So 106 teams all vying for 18 spots next Wednesday. So, and in many cases, you will see all 6 of these teams next Wednesday. But this is Division 1. But it's happening right now. 106 relays swimming these events all across Northern Virginia. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, and as much fun as it is to be here, this great venue, Overlee, it's great for the fans. There's all this seating. You can see the pool great. It's a beautiful view as the sun comes down on a great summer night, and we're just absolutely fortunate to be here. You know, I wish that we were able to go to a bunch of different meets tonight. I know that there's going to be a lot of really close meets across Northern Virginia tonight. As you said, all 17 divisions square off in this really fun meet. We decided we had to come here. It's just a can't-miss opportunity in Division 1.
Yeah, we wish everybody luck, though, that's out there in the other 16 meets.
One more
we're pulling for everyone.
Right.
We want everyone to give it their best and maybe earn another round next Wednesday.
And Swim Ninja, we'll be there next week. It's a question of whether or not we'll have the full broadcast. We'll let everybody know as soon as we possibly can on that. But Swim Ninja will definitely be there. We'll have the live stream running for the meet. We look forward to seeing everybody from around the league that we haven't seen this season. And as we get to the end of this break here, it does look like the official handed the Highlands team reps the slip. That's going to mean that Overlee's going to end up taking first place in that one. And Highlands, unfortunately, terribly unfortunate for their 11-12 boys, are going to be disqualified and not going on and getting that record or swimming next week at All-Star Relays. All right, 13-14 girls, 200 freestyle relays. So as we said before, the 13-14s, instead of swimming 100 medley like they normally do, or 100-meter freestyle relay like they would on a Saturday, everybody's swimming 50s today. So we're up to the 200 freestyle relay. The Chesterbrook girls won the medley pretty handedly, and Tuckahoe is right in the mix. Let's see if anybody can challenge them in this one.
The only place where the advantage is at this age is if you were using the all-star soccer player, the all-star lacrosse player who came in and could crank out a 25. And now they're asked to go back and forth. They've got to do this 2 lengths of the pool with a turn.
So everybody's together as they get out right now. Chesterbrook's pushing ahead just a little bit, but they're all together at the wall. 6 teams. This is great.
Yeah, this is dynamite race. 6 teams flipping simultaneously. Chesterbrook pulls out again once they get into some of the open water, but no one has backed off at this point.
That might have been Chapel to go in the water first. I had that at 28-7. So it looks like Chapel and Chesterbrook pushing ahead. Tuckahoe's right there with Overlee at the bottom of your screen in lane 6 trying to catch up into this race.
It's Samantha Brown, Tuckahoe swimmer in lane 2. Watch her kick. It's a huge kick behind her. Powerful, strong kick. She suffered from a bit of a slipped exchange, pretty slow exchange, but she's worked hard to come back, and she's using her legs to do that.
All right, we've got Kathleen Motter in 3, Kate Sheridan for Chesterbrook in 4. Sheridan's going to pull ahead right here. And as we saw in the medley relay, it looks like if Bergeson can get in the water first, she should be able to bring this home.
Oh, and Gilbert in 6. Gilbert has made a significant stride. She's made up about a half body length, maybe 3/4 of body length. I don't know if she's going to be able to pull up even.
All right,
Yep, Torey.
Absolutely. Who wants it more right now? Division 1, Relay Carnival. Who wants to get the win tonight? You've got Bergeson pulling ahead, being chased by
Jillian Ferrari.
Not a great underwater there from Bergeson, but a really good breakout stroke. You notice her body just kind of surge ahead with that first few strokes she took there.
It's taking everything I have not to throw automotive puns right now.
Yeah. 27-3 right there for Bergeson on that final lap.
Finish.
Yep.
And a good result for Wakefield Chapel. A strong second place. Dynamite swim, and hang their hats on that one.
Nice job, girls.
And it should have been Overlee with 3rd place down in lane 6.
For event 14, boys, 8
Tuckahoe's team record in this event is from 1994. It's a 25-year-old record. Terry Rogers, Berquist, and Jones. 94. Those swimmers right now would be 38, late 30s.
And in first place, the Chesterbrook Tiger Sharks.
Look at that. And the Chesterbrook girls just broke the NVSL record for the 200 freestyle relay. It was set by the Overlee girls at 153.00 one summer ago, and these girls just went 152.98, 200ths of a second. Unreal. But you know, that's what they say. Records are meant to be broken. So you take advantage of these kinds of meets. You only get 2 opportunities to swim this freestyle relay over the summer. You make sure that you go out, you leave it in the water, and you try to get that record if you think you have a good shot at it.
If they race that on a Saturday, if they did, they don't race these 200 frees. But if they had, that 2 100s may not have been there. That 2 100s may be the relay effect, the Relay Carnival effect.
Well, and especially, and again, even the differences between divisional and all-star relays. Right now, we're swimming. It's 8 o'clock, pretty much right on the dot. Next week, when these races go off, many of these kids will have been sitting out in the field at Lincolnia Park in the hottest day of the summer, middle of July, for hours when that race goes off at about 4:30, 5 o'clock at night.
That's right. And hydration will come into effect. How well they rested. Did they stay up late? Did they recover? Did they warm down? How much did they work out the day before? Those things will come into play when they have to sit out in the sun for a long time.
For a lot of these kids, especially with this meet being at Overlee, I know for the Chesterbrook girls, I'm guessing they were able to hang out at home in the air conditioning, relax all day long before coming out and doing it. That's not going to be the case next week by the time they get to this race. So way to go out there and take advantage of the opportunity.
13-14 200-meter freestyle relay. In lane 1, Overlee. In lane 2, McLean. In lane 3, Tuckahoe. In 4, Wakefield Chapel. In 5, Chesterbrook. And out here in 6, Highlands.
So Christian and I are just, going through our usual routine where he's mouthing things to me and I just don't even understand him. But we're going to Lincolnia Park next week.
Torey, the fun is contagious. So
13-14 boys, 200 freestyle relay. Now we saw Tuckahoe absolutely dominate the medley relay not too long ago. Let's see if anybody can give them a good challenge here. That looks like Eman Rovelis leading off for the Tigers.
Well, and Francis in 5, the Chesterbrook swimmer, dynamite first 25, and the best turn in the bunch. I don't know if he'll hold on, but he put himself in a position to compete with that turn. Held his breath, kept his nose down.
Stefan Jafari for Tuckahoe. He anchored that medley relay. He's pushing ahead now.
So you're watching Overlee up there in the top lane. That's Tuckahoe in lane 3 in the middle of the pool. In lane 5, that's Chesterbrook. Those are your top 3 teams in Division I right now as we speak.
All right, we're going into Nolan Dunkel. He's going to get off the block with about half a body length lead. Look at those underwaters. That's great. Great to see from a young swimmer develop that into their race so soon. It's such a game changer as you get older.
Well, look at that, Torey.
A little slow into the wall there, though.
A little too relaxed.
Yeah, a little too relaxed.
A little too relaxed. When those legs stop moving and they drift into the turn before they tuck their head down, that's either a tired swimmer or poor turn.
Right. 26.59. Not a bad swim, but I think that he definitely has more. His turnover was lacking a little bit, but he certainly was pulling a lot of water. He hands this over to JT Ewing, who's going to bring it home. Nobody's catching him today. Yep, look at that. Little things for them to be able to correct on the way home. It's a 50, it's a sprint. Nobody should be breathing on those first 2 cycles off the wall. I noticed a lot of these guys breathing. Granted, you're out in front by a bunch, but you should be trying to push that pace as best you can. You never know when this is your opportunity to break a record. So I would be trying to work on my transition coming off the wall and taking as few breaths as possible. Taking one right there, that just hurts as a sprinter.
You'll see these teams again next Wednesday. Some strong, fast 13, 14-year-old boys.
In 3rd place, Overlee, Jackson
another
Bravery,
chance to
George
clean that up
Coker,
and put their face down and hold their
Right.
breath.
Well,
So here we go. The last 2 events of the meet.
Yep.
These are the big guns, the 15, 18s. These guys have not only lead in obviously in speed and experience, but these are your emotional leaders for your team. These guys have spent the entire meet cheering. They've been on their feet. They've been walking 8 and unders, the youngest swimmers, up, back and forth so they don't get lost. They've been helping kids. They've been consoling those that might be upset. They've been screaming and yelling the entire time for almost 2 hours now. And here they are. They have to perform and finish this meet. So their burden is heavy, but they are there's a source of pride here in the 15, 18s that you might not get with the 8 and unders. They know what this is. They know what it counts. And for some of them, this will be their last Relay Carnival.
You're absolutely right.
Quiet for the start. Quiet for the start.
It's hard to know where to look right here, but if I had to guess, Highlands and Overlee are going to be out quick. At the top of your screen, 1, 2. So that's Kate Bailey leading off for Overlee. You got Holly Prince at the bottom of the screen with Emily Ferrari from Wakefield Chapel. This is going to be a good group of girls. If Tuckahoe can keep themselves right in the mix.
Turn. Could have streamlined a little tighter. Her elbows could have pinched her head and made herself slimmer from the shoulders to the hands. A little segment, but she pushed off strong and she kicks well. That's Ferrari there in 5 at the bottom, and she's in 2nd.
Bailey hands off to Alexis Lee. They're out in front, Overlee, lane 2. You've got Highlands in the mix. You've got Tuckahoe pushing up, trying to challenge. That's Caroline Flynn for Tuckahoe. She's coming in at the wall. She's right there with Alexis Lee, who gets up quick, doesn't work those underwaters. That's fine in a 50 Summer League swimming. Get on the surface and go. She's going to hand this one over to, it looks like Alice Bruce for Overlee. That bright orange cap right at the top. Tuckahoe Highlands right there.
So, and here's the opposite happening. We're seeing if Overlee can spread some points between them and Chesterbrook.
Wow.
They've got Tuckahoe and Highlands between them, and now we're seeing, believe that's Chapel down there in 5.
Oh, this could be the meet, absolutely. Tuckahoe pushing themselves in this. Alexis Bonfield's going to give Natalie English a chance to race her high school teammate, Kaylee Park, from up the road at Yorktown High School. Who wants it more right here? English up first. Park with the longer strides on the other side of the pool. They're 2 lanes away. They can see each other. They're both looking at each other as they go into the wall right here.
Quick turn in lane 2.
Yep.
Super quick turn there by Park.
Looks
she
like
tucked her head quickly. Her turnover rate is fast. She hasn't stopped kicking. She's out kicking lane 4.
and that long stride, that's just unbeatable when you turn it up. Kaylee
look
Park.
At the development there. We've got 4 teams that place ahead of Chesterbrook. So they maybe gained some ground back there.
But that's
strong.
Yeah, and that was a great race between 2 really good swimmers, 2
tonight.
friends that have swam against each other a
17
lot over the
girls,
years.
100-meter freestyle relay.
So Overlee,
In
double
third
wins
place,
on the
the team from
15-18
Chesterbrook.
girls, but plenty of
The double
competition, and there's
national
absolutely a
Hall,
rematch
Kate
in stake for us
Kira
next week at
Gutierrez,
All-Stars.
Emily Rayburn. In second place, the team from Overlee, Grace Callahan, Charlotte Wilhite, Hannah Portner, and Aida Young. And in first place with a winning time
Overlee,
of 57.09.
150,
with a new
looks like
team
150
record from
low.
Highlands, Sabrina
Can't quite see from here.
Berganum,
150 point.
Ella Smith, Maggie O'Shaughnessy.
They're going to be off the NVSL
and
record on that
Charlotte
one.
Scoia. Nice job, Highlands.
They've got about a second to go
And
get
up
that.
next will be our last
All right,
competitive event
here we
of
are.
the night.
Last race of the night.
This is the senior boys.
Got to say that I've had a really great time.
relay.
Again, thank you to all the people here at
In lane
Overlee for
1,
having us for this
Chesterbrook.
great meet, giving us the
In lane
opportunity to
2,
be upstairs.
the team
Thank you to all of our
Highlands.
help who's on production
In lane
tonight,
3,
doing the camera and
Overlee.
sound work.
In lane 4,
Definitely big shout out to all the
McLean.
volunteers and
In lane
officials.
5,
We're still going to be on,
Tuckahoe.
but this has just been
And
so
out
much
here in lane
fun to
6,
commentate
Wakefield
and
Chapel.
be here for this broadcast with a bunch of great swimming tonight. All right.
Quiet for the start. Quiet for the start.
Chesterbrook at the top of your
from the
screen,
start.
lane 1. There got to be favorites, but you've got Highlands in 2. Good start. Mathis leading off for Chesterbrook. He's out first. Really asserting himself in this one. He's being
Jeffrey
chased.
Gerber from Chapel in the bottom of your screen, lane 6. Dynamite turn, great streamline. He's going to keep them in the hunt, at least for the start of this race. A 4-way race there.
Yeah, Marcus Brown coming in for Highlands. Ryan So in the number 2 spot for Chesterbrook at the top of your screen. It's Chesterbrook, it's Highlands. I have Ryan Mathis at 24-4 on that leadoff leg for Chesterbrook. KJ Morris Larkin going in for Highlands in the 3rd spot. He's going to have to hold off Thomas Outlaw. No, that's
You
not Outlaw.
notice
That's
Chesterbrook
Bernasek.
had the lead, and Highlands had a dynamite exchange and kept him in it, but he can't keep up.
Yeah, that's
Outlaw's
Ollie
pulled ahead.
Bernasek.
Oh, is that Bernasek? And
Yep.
he's pulled ahead.
And he's going to give this off to Thomas Outlaw, and I don't think there's any catching him, but you've got Ben Charles coming in behind him, pushing him. And he's moving.
He's chewing up water. I think he made up a few inches, but you only got about 24 seconds to do that to
Yep.
make up ground, and it's just too much, too little, too late. And I think he did make a move. A heroic swim there by Charles at the end. Just too much ground to make up. And Tuckahoe, noise from the Tuckahoe team. They are confident. Overlee's making noise. Chesterbrook loud. These teams have not stopped
Nice
making
job,
noise
guys.
and cheering on their teammates.
Hey, let's show good
for the last
sportsmanship
2
out there.
hours.
I have Chesterbrook coming in at 23-8. Thomas Outlaw on that final split there.
Nice
NVSL
job, guys.
record
Fun to watch.
134.94.
We have a quick little break before our SAM relay. Coaches, please send over your entrance
Chesterbrook
into the SAM relay, which will begin
135.82.
in 5 minutes. Bobby
So
tallies the
again,
scores
more work
and
to be done there.
see what happened.
But a lot of great swimming. We still have the SAM relay coming up. We're going to keep it up and running as we just kind of break down what we've seen tonight, what we think might end up
Anything
being.
unexpected, Torey. This
Yeah.
is kind of what we thought would happen. I think a tighter meet maybe than we expected, but generally Chesterbrook heavy and Overlee and Tuckahoe, biting at their heels.
Right. No, absolutely. A lot of great swimming throughout the night. I noticed, in our notes, we saw that Chesterbrook was going to be in contention in a lot of these races. So just by virtue of them being up there, even if they're not getting first, they're scoring somewhere in the top 3 or 4 in every single race. It's hard to keep up with, and then they go out and win these kinds of big races. So I think Chesterbrook is probably up there near the top. Highlands, Overlee, Tuckahoe, certainly in the mix. We'll see how that.
McLean had a strong showing tonight as well.
Yeah.
Particularly in the medleys, they seem to stick with it. They seem to hang in there. And they were in the top 3 for a lot of those.
Well, and McLean, which is a great bunch of people over there who really do have a lot of fun. They compete hard, a lot of good swimmers. They've had a number of people from their pool move away over the past few years, which has kind of left their roster a little bit depleted in some of their age groups. But still coming out here, Division I Relay Carnival, you said it, competing hard, making a really good name for themselves, and not giving anything to the field.
Yeah, I think their energy level was what we expect from Division I. And usually, and not always, and you and I have talked about this many times, is that that's the sign of a team that's going to hang around here for a while.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and because we talk about this in our podcast, it does take something to really break into Division I. And you mentioned at one point, I think a lot of it is the culture about knowing how to come into these kinds of meets, and you have to be all about yourself. You have to cheer through the good and the bad. You can't, you bring extra kids with you to make sure that your energy in your team area stays high. So when the kids come back from their races, they're fired up, whether they had a good swim or not, and they're ready to get back up and get that next one. And that's how you compete in Division I, at this level. And McLean, Highlands, a lot of credit to those teams. They've managed to get into Division I, break in, make a name for themselves, and hold on well, and have been here for a number of years now.
They have, and they've stuck around. And I think, our statistics guy, our secret statistics guy needs to jump on this. But I would argue that the longer you hang around in D1, the better your odds are of winning Division I. So, and it may or I'm not sure that's the case now, but it certainly was in the 90s and early 2000s. So you got to be here to win it, which is kind of a nonsensical platitude, but that's the truth. So if McLean can keep this energy up and keep attracting families and hold their swimmers, and there's a lot to do. There's something there at the end of that rainbow.
And as we look around, we're seeing a number of relay carnivals around the league have wrapped up. Looks like Mantua Marlins took a Division VI relay carnival. They're saying it's their first win in over 20 years. Good job, Mantua.
Nice job.
Springboard down in Division 12. We were there. We saw them 2 weeks ago for the meet of the week when they swam South Run. They weren't able to get the win that day, but they swam well, got back up, won the Division 12 relay championship. Good job to them. They're going to be our host for All-Stars, individual All-Stars at the end of the season.
Yeah, we've got results flooding in right now, and we'll give you those updates when we get to them. When these meets wrap up, they wind down, this energy, this high energy environment quickly turns to friendship, and you've got, all these kids know each other. Many of them going to school and swam each other and soccer and grown up together, and here they are, all these teams intermingling. They will typically, what will happen is just prior to the announcement of the scores, they'll kind of reform, right, Torey, and they'll reform in anticipation of those results.
Absolutely.
And you'll see some drama there play out.
Yeah. No, and you said it, everybody comes to this meet. There's a lot of, the colors that you see down in the team areas is what you have up here in the stands. You have your tribalism of Division I swimming, where everybody, they're cheering for their team really hard, but the second the meet's over, even between races, you've got orange and red and yellow and blue all intermixed, and it's great to see. That's really what Swim Ninja is all about, is we're here to, witness and hype up and help build this great swimming community that we have in Northern Virginia, especially in the NVSL. And it's just great to be a part of this broadcast tonight and see it all happen. So coming up here is what we call the SAM Relay. Now, I'm not even sure what SAM stands for, but I know that it's a mixed age, mixed gender relay where you have one swimmer from each age group and each gender all swimming in a relay. This is a little fun thing that they invented once upon a time to give the people tabulating the scores some time and keep everybody still at the pool. everybody who's swimming in this race did not swim in any of the relays tonight. So this is just, I think a good pat on the back from the coaches for kids who just come out, love their team, support them regardless, and give them an opportunity to swim in front of all these people.
Yeah, it's an emotional warm down as well. A chance for the crowd to kind of settle down and everybody kind of, I'm sure there is scorekeeping going on. These coaches are not typically updated with the scores unless their team reps walk over and give them the scores. They're typically not tracking them. Sometimes that's the case. Bigger staffs will have someone tracking the score as they go, but often at the end of these meets, we find surprise staffs and surprise swimmers.
Just from looking around the stands and having coached on these pool decks before, I'm certain that almost every single one of these teams, especially if they thought they were in the mix there at the top, were keeping score. We saw a lot of the parents and fans down here below us who are keeping track throughout the meet. So I think there's some teams who have an idea. Of course, it's hard to keep track of all the disqualifications and how your team moved up on each one, but they're playing it pretty close to the chest today. We went down there trying to find out where exactly we were on results, and we are in the dark as well, so we don't know. We're going to stay tuned. We're going to enjoy this last race, taking a few more great sights with the sun going down here at Overlee, this beautiful pool here in Arlington, Virginia, and just wait for them to give us the final scores.
The ones doing a 25 should be going first and second. So if you're not doing a 25, you should not be first.
Well, as we have this brief pause, thank you to everybody who tuned in to watch the live stream. We hope you enjoyed it. Again, this was Christian and my first time doing a broadcast, talking through the whole thing. We tried to do our homework, try to, provide a little bit of statistical analysis, break down the numbers, even talk about what we saw people doing well and not so well in the pool. Hopefully everybody understands that's just completely coming from two enthusiasts of the sport, two coaches, people who love it, want to see everybody continue to keep getting better and just love it as much as we do.
Yeah, first go-round won't be the last. Things only improve.
We hope so.
We appreciate you guys sticking with us. So, and we anticipate we'll do this last relay and then we'll get the scores. It's being tabulated now and retabulated, re-retabulated. We'll keep doing this until they're positive they have the final score right, and we'll be doing it right now.
I don't see a team.
Beyond all that, if you're waiting for the scores, or even just waiting for this race to start, go ahead, go to shopswimninja.com, buy yourself some great Swim Ninja gear, use promo code LIVESTREAM, get yourself a nice little discount. Get it now while supplies last. Everything is flying off the shelf. We sold a bunch of stuff here today. We'll be back out again next week at All-Star Relays, but why wait to see it in person? Get your Ninja gear now.
Actually, McLean is pushing lane 2 to lane 7. It's faster.
So, and Torey and I will join you again, and we'll recap this a little more in depth and take some deep dives again in the days to come.
Assuming that we're able to sit down for our first podcast of the season since the preseason, we have a lot to cover, a lot of topics that we've been talking about wanting to do. We've just been trying to get our schedules on track. But if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast at all, make sure to give Shaven Taper a listen.
The summer goes quickly, and things get crazy, and we'll be here until the end of this year,
and perhaps beyond. So, interesting move here. Sam Relay, McLean decided to move down here into the bottom lane with the top 2 lanes empty. And you'll notice everybody's, everybody has a different approach to who they're going to have swim first, second, whatever their order is. We did see Overlee swim their younger swimmers, or maybe that was Highlands that swam their first 2 25s. Everybody else swam a 50 here.
No, the Overlee has not traditionally been the host for a lot of these big meets. It was only, 18 years ago that they finished, not even that long, they finished remodeling this pool, redoing this pool. And the old pool, if you look to the left of your screen where you see the edge, the swimmer sitting on the edge there, was that white coping stone that surrounds the pool. There was a wall that extended from one side of the pool to the other, and the 8 and 9, 10s, even 11, 12, 13, 14 relays would walk out on that thin wall and have to dive from that wall. That means their foot could not go beyond, or they'd fall into this, what they called the tank, this small 3-foot deep pool behind that wall.
That's right.
And it was, kind of an infamous wall. I can only think of one All-Stars, 1984 was held here, individual All-Stars. And I don't remember an All-Star relays here ever, and for that reason.
There was 2007 divisionals was here when they still had the wall, and as you point out, you have that white coping stone, the lip, and coming back, which is actually wider than what the wall used to be. It did have a better, more porous, grippy lip at one point, but and then you had a tank pool behind it. So the fun part, fun at least for us, probably not so fun for the officials, but all these relay takeoff judges who were here tonight helping make this meet happen, they had to stand in the tank pool behind it in the water.
Standing waist deep in water, and that was the deal.
Oh, and that pool was a lot colder for pretty much the whole summer than this pool is today.
That's right, and I think the equivalent in track and field would be if the starter had to stand in 3 feet of quicksand.
Right.
So it's just a very strange setup. So it's fun to see Overlee hosting this, and of course the facility now is huge, and it's actually looks like a.
Yeah, we're being interrupted on our broadcast, which is incredibly unprofessional, but we're just going to push right through it. Apparently, we just missed it. There was a flip into the pool on the start. I do see the guard staff, standing up and having a conversation about it. None of the officials seem to be all that concerned about a disqualification, but the lifeguards and pool management are not pleased.
This is a serious incident. Level 3 amber alert. I shouldn't use amber, should I? Maybe we'll go with chartreuse.
Yeah, so this may be our last broadcast after all. We're hoping to just make it through the end of the scores announcement here. Looks like we're getting to the back end of this Sam relay.
Yeah, these kids having fun. People still cheering, still noise, still a good crowd around the edge of the pool.
Right. Well, there's still a big trophy to be claimed down here. So if you think that your team is in contention for that, you want to hang around and make sure you're a part of that moment. Big-ish trophy.
Yeah, you can tell as Torey, as this continues here, as we get closer to the final scores, you can see Torey and I slipping into our familiar roles. With me, flips of the tongue, and Torey prompting interesting dialogue.
And something that we're learning is, compared to our podcast, where normally I might be able to say, don't worry about it, we'll push through it, I'll just edit it out and have a really choppy podcast.
We hope you stick with us on this downward spiral.
Right. Well, again, we do hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure that you tell anybody you know. If you don't already listen to the Shave and Taper podcast, you can listen to all of our shows, our first 2 seasons. They are out on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you like to listen to your podcast. You can even download it right off of swimninja.com. So give it a listen. We'll be back on the air with a few more shows for the rest of the summer and potentially even pushing past that. All right, now it's not clear what's going on because all kinds of people are jumping in the pool. I'm guessing that the scorers table came over to the edge and told some of these teams, hey, we need to slow this relay down further. We're not sure what the score is. Can you drag this out a little bit longer?
Great job, swimmers. That was a lot of fun to watch. We have some more results. Event 18, the boys 11-12, 100-meter freestyle relay. In third place, the team from McLean, Luther Sand, Kevin Campbell, Martin Anderson, and Henry Miller. In second place, the team from Chesterbrook, Matthew Rose, Shane Monroe, Andrew Lohman, and John Rayburn.
We're still waiting for times to come across the wire here for the other 16 divisions, but we can expect fairly fast times with a few of these pools. Donaldson Run hosting Division 3, fairly quick pool, nice cold pool, we've talked about it before. Lee Graham in Division 5 hosting, Sleepy Hollow hosting Division 8, Solly, newer pool in 9. So, and then we've got Woodley hosting Division 15, which is a great layout, kind of a classic we've been used for many of the All-Star meets, and they're hosting Division 15 tonight, and even Commonwealth hosting Division 16. So we'll see some fast times start to trickle in here in the next 15 minutes. Thanks for staying tuned with us and hanging with us tonight. We watch the Division 1 Divisional Relay Carnival.
That's right. Once again, thank you everybody here at Overlee. Thank you to all these Division 1 teams, Overlee, Highlands, Chesterbrook, Tuckahoe, McLean, Wakefield, Chapel, all your team reps, all your volunteers who make this possible. Big shout out to Bruce Gilbert from Overlee for all the technical assistance, James Carroll and Guthrie Edson on sound and camera. Compliments to my co-host here, Christian Doud, for being able to make the trip in.
Way back at you, man.
And
great being out here tonight.
And again, to all the officials, we tried to give them a big shout out on one of our last podcasts, and it might have come across as a little tongue-in-cheek, but we definitely appreciate everything all these volunteers do to put on a really great, fair competition, but good competition, you know.
Just what we thought. Sorry to interrupt. Just what we thought. Look at McLean down here. This is a tight-knit team. They will probably not win or take second tonight. And you notice they're not facing outwards. They are turned inwards. They are tight. Look how tight that is. There's 100 kids in there, packed in, and celebrating the occasion with themselves. Great energy, great teamwork. See Chesterbrook across the pools gathered in now for a few last words from their coaching staff and maybe their seniors. Overly gathered at the starting end of the pool. The orange and white.
Bailey, Alexis Lee, Alice Bruce, and Kaylee Park. And that time of 150.64 is a new Overly pool record.
I really love this McLean energy. This is great.
Which was our final event. That was the boys' senior 200 freestyle relay.
They're here to have fun.
You'll
notice, Overlee, Chesterbrook forming into their own circles at either ends of the pool. This is a pretty common, pretty familiar scene right here as they wait for the final announcement. McLean's over here just having fun. Tuckahoe.
Marcus Brown, KJ, Morris Larkin, and Ben Charles. And in first place with a new team record from Chesterbrook, Thomas Outlaw, Ryan So, Ryan Mathis, Ollie Bernasic.
You know, and it's now 8:30. Some of these teams, they've been here since 4:45, 5 o'clock, warming up, cheering, just going through it, and they are still down here, still cheering, still having fun. This is a great night.
Look at Tuckahoe.
I'm going to hand it over to Linda now.
Circling up. Look at that. And if you look, you'll see the older kids and younger guys circled around.
All the officials for your hard work and for coming out to support your children's swimming.
This should be the final announcement of scores here.
The official results of tonight's meet. In sixth place, 94 points, the team from Wakefield Chapel.
Wakefield Chapel. Been out of the league for 1 year, out of division for 1 year back, comes back. Solid showing, Torey.
In fifth place, with 124 points, the team from McLean.
McLean 124. But the energy level of the first place team, look at that.
This will be the interesting one.
In fourth place, with 142 points, the team from Highlands.
Highlands. Okay.
Highlands. So here we go.
The same three teams. Highlands has evacuated the pool deck, but Tuckahoe,
in third place,
Chesterbrook,
with 174 points, the team from Tuckahoe.
Wow.
Tuckahoe is strong third place tonight. And they look good, Torey.
Yeah.
They looked fast. They had some holes that we expected, which has always been the case for many years.
In second place with 188 points. And then the first place winners had 240 points.
Wow. 60.
Second place goes to the team from Overlee, 188.
All right, and that's going to give the win then to Chesterbrook.
And the team from Chesterbrook,
in overwhelming
240 points.
So there were very few moments tonight, Torey, when Chesterbrook wasn't in the top three. So they may not have won every race, but they were never out of a race.
Right. And in this meet, you know, the point differential between, 14 points is big, but as long as you're finishing up there and you're still winning a few, you're still in it. It's going to be much more significant next week, which is why, as you were saying, this was a really good night for Tuckahoe, because I think that some of their relays are going to finish, in first, second, third. They have some really strong teams that'll be up there, and they'll pick up points because first place there is 40 points.
That's correct.
And if you end up getting, 16th place, now you're looking at 6th. The point differential there is much more dramatic. And that's why this was a really good meet for Tuckahoe, and even really for McLean, Wakefield Chapel, Highlands. They're going to have really good showings next week. Chesterbrook, they're consistent. They're right here in the mix. They're going to need to make sure that they keep working on their relays over the course of the next week. Take advantage of, those races like the 13-14 girls, 15-18 boys, some of those ones in the younger age group that they won. But a few of them that they think that they might be a little bit more competitive
Again, thanks
they're
to
going
Greg
to
and
try
his
to move
staff
along and
for
improve,
cleaning up after us.
because
Please make
by
your
no
job
means
a
I
little
don't
bit
think they're
easier
locked up
by
all-star
taking
relays. They
all
did win
of
big
your
tonight,
stuff,
but they're going to have some work to do going into the next week, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great
back,
analysis.
so I would not leave them behind.
I think Tuckahoe was
Thanks
aggressive
to all the volunteers,
tonight.
too. Appreciate your support. Thanks to all those that worked the grills tonight. The burgers were great.
I don't think the scores surprised
Special
me
thanks to
as
Slim
much.
Ninja for streaming, to all those that couldn't be here. Thank you guys.
Again,
Appreciate what
like
you're
we were
doing.
saying, those second and thirds that Chesterbrook
Have a
took
great
tonight,
night.
which kind of
Thank you.
secure them, they lock them into the win. Those scores, they cannot let those seconds and thirds drift to 7th and 8th in all-star relays.
Right.
Because if they win 6 relays and Tuckahoe or Overlee win 6, it's now a matter of who's your relays that don't win. How far do they get pushed backwards towards the rest of the league? So do teams jump in between them? And we don't know that until those results trickle in. So we don't know where they're gonna sit.
So we have another fun week ahead of us, waiting for results to come in. We're going to have a big week 4 matchup. It'll be interesting to see how Chesterbrook and Highlands match up. Overlee and Tuckahoe, as we already said. A lot of fun, even around the rest of the league as results keep coming back in. Again, we thank everybody for being on the stream with us tonight. I think at this point, we're going to shut it down. There's the final scene right there. Chesterbrook with their Division I Relay Carnival Championship. 2019 champions 2 years in a row. That's the first jewel in the Triple Crown if they can go for it. So congratulations, Chesterbrook. Great job, the rest of Division I, Overlee, McLean, Highlands, Wakefield Chapel. And we're looking forward to seeing you all again and more next week at All-Star Relays.
From Overlee Swimming Pool in Arlington, Virginia, Division I Relays, Torey and Christian saying good night. See you next week.